Chapter 11. Wendy's Story. Listen then, said Wendy, settling down to her story, with Michael at her feet, and 7 boys in the bed. There once was a gentleman. I'd rather he'd been a lady, Curly said. I wish he'd been a white rat, said Nibs. Quiet, their mother admonished them. There was a lady also, and... Oh, Mummy, cried the first twin. You mean that there is a lady also, don't you? She is not dead, is she? Oh, no. I'm awfully glad she isn't dead, said Toodles. Are you glad, John? Of course I am. Are you glad, Nibs? Brother? Are you glad, twins? We are just glad. Oh dear, sighed Wendy. A little less noise there, Peter called out, determined that they should have fair play, however beastly a story it might be, in his opinion. The gentleman's name, Wendy continued, was Mr. Darling, and her name was Mrs. Darling. I knew them, John said to annoy the others. I think I knew them, said Michael, rather doubtfully. They were married, you know, explained Wendy. And what do you think they had? White rats? Cried Nibs, inspired. No. It's awfully puzzling, said Toodles, who knew the story by heart. Quiet, Toodles. They had 3 descendants. What is a descendant? Well, you are one, twin. Do you hear that, John? I'm a descendant. Descendants are only children, said John. Oh dear, cried Wendy. Now, these 3 children had a faithful nurse called Nana, but Mrs. Darling was angry with her and chained her up in the yard, and so all the children flew away. It's an awfully good story, said Nibs. They flew away, Wendy continued, to Neverland, where the lost children are. I just thought they did, Curly broke in excitedly. I don't know how it is, but I just thought they did. Oh, Wendy, cried Toodles. Was one of the children called Toodles? Yes, he was. I'm in a story. Hurrah! I'm in a story, Nibs. Hush. Now I want you to consider the feelings of unhappy parents, with all their children flown away. Oh, they all moaned, though they were not really considering the feelings of the unhappy parents one jot. Think of the empty beds. It's awfully sad, the first twin said cheerfully. I don't see how it can have a happy ending, said the second twin. Do you, Nibs? I'm frightfully anxious. If you knew how great is a mother's love, Wendy told them triumphantly, you would have no fear. She had now come to the part that Peter hated. I do like a mother's love, said Toodles, hitting Nibs with a pillow. Do you like a mother's love, Nibs? I do just, said Nibs, hitting back. You see, Wendy said complacently, our heroine knew that the mother would always leave the window open for her children to fly back by, so they stayed away for years and had a lovely time. Did they ever go back? Let us now, said Wendy, bracing herself for her finest effort, take a peep into the future. And they all gave themselves the twist that makes peeps into the future easier. Years have rolled by, and who is this elegant lady of uncertain age alighting at London Station? Oh, Wendy, who is she? Cried Nibs, every bit excited, as if he didn't know. Can it be? Yes? No? It is! The fair Wendy. Oh, and who are the 2 noble portly figures accompanying her, now grown into men's estates? Can they be? John and Michael? They are. Oh. See, dear brothers, said Wendy, pointing upwards. There is the window, still standing open. Ah, now we are rewarded for our sublime faith in a mother's love. So up they flew to their mummy and daddy, and pen cannot describe the happy scene over which we draw a veil. That was a story, and they were pleased with it, as that fair narrator herself. Everything just as it should be, you see. Off we skip, like the most heartless things in the world, which is what children are, but so attractive, and we have entirely selfish time. And then, when we have need of special attention, we nobly return for it, confident that we shall be embraced instead of smacked. So great indeed was their faith in a mother's love that they felt they could afford to be callous for a bit longer. But there was one there who knew better, and when they finished he uttered a hollow groan. "What is it, Peter?" she cried, running to him, thinking he was ill. She felt deliciously, lower down in his chest. "Where is it, Peter?" "It isn't that kind of pain," Peter replied darkly. "Then what kind is it?" "Wendy, you're wrong about mothers." They all gathered round him in a light, so alarming was his agitation, and with a fine candle he told them what he had hitherto concealed. "Long ago," he said, "I thought, like you, that my mother would always keep the window open for me. So I stayed away for moons and moons and moons, and then flew back